Toyota and Lexus dealerships are facing a series of challenges when they begin replacing more than 100,000 engines in the 2022 and 2023 model Tundra pickups and LX utility vehicles starting in December. The replacement engines are necessary due to a recall issued in May caused by machining debris left in the engine during the manufacturing process. While the company had not figured out a fix at the time of the recall, an updated statement from Toyota on July 25th confirmed that Toyota's solution is a simple one: replace the whole dang thing. The full recall population includes 102,092 vehicles, 98,568 Tundras, and 3,524 LX600s. The recall affects vehicles equipped with the V35A engine, a twin-turbocharged 3.4-liter V6 that is offered with varying power outputs across the Tundra and LX lineups. The NHTSA documents explain that engine machining debris might not have been removed from the engine during the production process. In affected vehicles, if the debris adheres to the crankshaft main bearings and operation of the eye-in continues at higher loads over time, the bearings can fail. This can lead to engine knocking, rough running, an inability to start, or a loss of power. Losing power at higher speeds can increase the risk of a crash. The Tundra is also offered with a hybrid powertrain that uses the V35A V6 engine, but the hybrid model is not included in this recall. NHTSA notes that if a hybrid vehicle experiences an engine failure, it will still have some motive power for limited distances, and the driver will be warned with audio and visual messages. Toyota notified owners of affected vehicles by late July and begin the replacement process starting in December. So all owners should have been notified by now. All owners will be provided a repair at no cost under warranty, and owners can also check the NHTSA recalls website to see if their vehicle is affected. So that's the technical info, and I am glad Toyota is stepping up. They understand their reputation is on the line. They are doing more and giving us a solution way faster than a lot of manufacturers in the past. So kudos to them. I think they are literally going to spend billions on this recall. I have seen estimates online as low as $550 million and as high as $3 billion. Personally, I think it's going to cost closer to $3 billion than $550 million. At the end of the day, none of that really matters to the consumer. The only people who will know exactly how much are the accountants at Toyota after all this is said and done. However, if you are affected by this recall, that should not be your major concern. And here is why. Because Toyota can afford it. If any manufacturer can afford it, it is Toyota. They made like $34 billion last year globally, so they won't skip a beat. What you should be concerned about is the logistics of the situation if you are affected by this recall. Let's break that down for you. And of course, we are assuming a lot of things here, but they are real issues that will affect this recall. And since most of the trucks affected are Tundras, this video will focus on the Toyota side of the fence. And I am just going to round it up to 100,000 units, so the math is easier. Here are the numbers at a quick glance. So there are at 100,000 trucks and 1,277 Toyota dealers in the US. Toyota has allotted between 13 to 21 hours per replacement, so that's about 3 days. Each dealership will have to allot at least one or maybe two lifts to do these repairs, some more, some less. Remember, we are talking about averages here. 100,000 divided by 1,277 equals 78.3 units per store. Again, this is an average. Some stores will do more, some will do less, but 78.3 per store is the average. Most service departments are open 6 days per week, so most can pump out 2 of these per week if there are no glitches in parts or manpower. And that is a big if. But let's just say everything runs perfectly. You are still looking at 39 weeks, which is about 18 months. That doesn't sound that bad, right? 18 months, 2 per week, easy peasy. But these are best case scenario numbers. My personal humble opinion is this will take at least 3 years to complete. And this recall will have a massive ripple effect on all Toyota customers servicing at the dealerships during this time period, not just the ones who owns the affected trucks. If you ever worked in a new car franchise dealership like I have, you know that the only thing you can count on in a dealership with a recall of this magnitude is nothing will go as planned. I am not here to bash dealerships. On the contrary, I worked at them most of my adult life, and I still work with them on a daily basis as my clients. I will not bite the hand that feeds me, but I won't sugarcoat the situation either. I want to tell you what to expect so you can adjust your expectations. Here are some of the major factors not considered and are not being talked about. First, loss of manpower and available lifts to work on normal everyday repairs and maintenance. Because the engine replacements are complex, many stores will assign their most experienced technicians to handle the recall. But dealerships also must ensure the quality of repair and preventative maintenance work remains high. Go ask any service manager how much losing 2 master techs and 2 lifts for 2 to 3 years will affect their business. This is going to tax the already fragile ecosystem that keeps service departments running smoothly. In order to do the recalls and still service their regular service traffic, they will have to hire at least 2 more techs to handle the additional workload, and qualified technicians are the hardest people to recruit right now for dealerships. Most stores won't even post pictures and names of their techs on their websites in fear of competing stores poaching their talents. And when you get 1,277 stores needing to hire 2 techs each simultaneously, it's going to get ugly really quick. Factor number 2, technician turnover. This is going to be the linchpin on how smoothly this recall will go. Toyota has said the estimated repair time should be 13 to 21 hours. It remains to be seen how many hours they will actually pay the techs for this type of job. Keep in mind, warranty rate is lower than customer pay rate to start with. There are already stories of techs leaving Toyota stores because they hate doing this type of work and don't want to deal with getting hosed for doing a lot of work and not getting paid for it. So, let's hope Toyota steps up here too and takes care of the techs. Because imagine adding this issue on top of the one we just talked about, it will be a recipe for disaster. Factor number 3, these are $60,000 to $70,000 trucks. The owners of these trucks are not going to be happy stuffed into a Corolla as a loaner car. They will demand larger SUVs or trucks as loaners, and for a 2 to 3 day repair, the loaner will be gone for up to 4 to 5 days. 0.5 to 1 day to drop off the truck, 2 to 3 days for the repair itself, and 0.5 to 1 day to come pick up the repaired truck. And that's assuming there are 0 parts back orders or delays, which always happens. This means dealerships will have to accommodate a minimum of 40 to 50,000 extra days of loaner service over the next 2 to 3 years. While some customers can just drop it off and pick it back up without a loaner, that's going to be the exception, not the rule. This will be a logistical nightmare for the service departments to try to accommodate a tsunami of demand for upscale and larger service loaners. Factor number 4, speaking of parts back orders, no auto manufacturer on earth has 103,000 extra engines just sitting around. These will be billed and released to the dealerships on a first-come, first-served basis. Toyota just released an update saying the remedies will begin shipping starting last quarter of this year. You can bet there will be huge wait times for these bad boys. And there will be some sort of exchange program to keep track of these bad engines, meaning you cannot order more replacements unless you return the ones you've just pulled out of the defective trucks. This is another layer of complexity dealerships will have to face. And that's assuming no other critical components go on back order, such as seals, gaskets, nuts, and bolts, etc. Talk to any experienced techs, and they all have stories on how a $2 part held up a $30,000 repair job for days or weeks, sometimes even months. I mean, just the extra fluids alone this recall will take is massive. Each engine replacement will require fresh oil and coolant. Let's do some quick math. 7.7 quarts of oil and 19.9 quarts of coolant, 13.1 for the engine / 4.6 for the intercooler, and 2.2 for the power control unit times 100,000 units equals almost 3 million quarts of fluids, and all that must be replaced and recycled, plus an extra 100,000 oil filters with the right gaskets. These are the things no one thinks about unless you've been in the trenches and know the realities of these large repair orders. Factor number 5, stop sells. Owners who decide to wait to repair their trucks will not be able to trade it off or sell it, at least not at a major loss, because the dealerships trading for them will have to go through the same process as consumers to get the trucks fixed, and they will account for that in the appraisal. Same thing on the private resale market. Most people won't touch a truck unless the recall had been done unless there is a massive discount. And even then, most people don't want the hassle. So, what does this all mean if you are one of the 100,000 people affected by the recall? The answer is, have some extra patience and grace. The dealerships are doing the best they can and dealing with logistics, which most of the time are beyond their control. Leverage any and all existing relationships. You are more likely to get better service if you go back to the dealership you bought the truck from, if they have the capacity. Money still talks, and if you are an existing customer who spent money with them in sales and service, they will want to keep you happy. And for the rest of you who own Toyotas not affected by the recall, please be patient, be kind, and have some empathy for the ones affected. Let us know your thoughts and comment below. Until next time, this is Kevin Liu for Todo Machina.